So you've got a number. And I know we said that inevitably we'd think about maybe putting together a more compelling offer. And I just want to push us into the comfort zone right now. So or out of the comfort zone, into the edge of the comfort zone. You know what I mean? That number that you charge per session or per class, per package. I want you to say that out loud. I charge $100 a session. I charge $20,000 a year. I charge $3,000 for 6 months. Whatever it is. I want you to say that out loud. My fee for working with me for 9 months is $6,000. Just say it out loud a couple of times. And as you do, what I'd like to maybe offer as an invitation is, what do you notice within yourself? Is there any constriction going on when you say that? Does it feel like it just rolls off your tongue? Are you able to say it fully? Do you still feel your contact with the floor underneath you when you say it? So, what I'd like to do is invite you to give yourself a raise. It's really nice. If you're watching this and you're in kind of the movement world or the bodywork world, the stuff you do matters. It's really valuable. Helping someone get a more comfortable experience of themselves in their life is the most potent gift that you can offer. That's really valuable. That can turn someone's life around entirely. So let the work you do be valuable. And what I'd like to offer as an exploration here is play around with what it's like to, add $10 to what you offer. So if you charge, $150 a session, you say, my fee is $160 a session. And typically I work in packages of 10. So if you'd like to work together, that'll be $1,600. What happens in there? What do you notice? What we're going to look at is, can we titrate ourselves, expose ourselves to little bits of stress, a little bit at a time, to gradually get more and more comfortable. So, just as a bit of contrast here, what I'd like you to do now is add a 0 to the end of whatever you charge. Just as a bit of, compare and contrast. So we added $10. So let's say now it's, my fee is, I can't even say with a straight face, $1,500 per session. So notice what comes up for you when you do that too. You're allowed to have fun with pricing. This can be a really fun activity. It's a really juicy exploration of our own self-worth, our own story. As uncomfortable as it can be, it can also be really fun. So clearly for me, that's just beyond the edge of reasonable into comical, right? $1,500 a session. Shit, that'd be pretty slick. So play around with it. Say it a couple of times. My fee is $1,500 a session. All right. At least I kept it together at that point, but still I noticed there's a little bit of there's a butterfly feeling, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not $1,500 a session. Some part of me physically knows that that's not what it is, right? But the more we say it, the more comfortable it becomes. We dose ourselves with a little bit of stress, dose ourselves with a little bit of novelty, and we allow that to settle in. It's like you drop a pebble in a pond and you see what ripples out. So, my fee is $1,500 a session. Well, all right. Now, personally, it's a little less nervous. It's a little more exciting. It's what would I have to do in order to do that? Okay. So we can set that aside. And what I'd like you to do, or what I'd like to offer, is maybe a little exploration for you, is pick a series of numbers between adding $10 to your fee and adding a 0 to the end of your fee. And play around with this space in between. For most of us, maybe adding $10 is yeah, I should do that. In which case, if you feel comfortable doing that, do that. Go for it. Maybe you can then test the upper limit. How much is too much? My fee is $200 a session. My fee is $500 a session. My fee is $2,000. My fee is not $2,000 a session. But you get where we're going with this, right? What I'd like you to maybe play around with here is say out loud, and really, you gotta say it out loud. You gotta put your voice into it, because hearing the quality of your voice with this is gonna go a long way too. If it's like, my fee is $200 a session. It's like, what? What is it? My fee is $200 a session. Okay. Qualitative difference there. So play around with this. What's your price? And could you titrate yourself into stepping up a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more? Because what we're doing when we price our work at a higher level is we're inviting people to put a little more value in their own change, their own process. Because if you think back before, this isn't about you. It's not about what you do. It's about the change that you bring about in a person's life. So what we're essentially asking is, how much am I willing to model for my potential clients that this change is worth? How much am I willing to kind of offer to them that they could be worth through this process? Price is a story. Do I want to be the person who works for $40 a session? Who's that person? Do I want to be the person that works for $200 a session? Who's that person? How do they show up differently? What do they embody within themselves? How do they carry themselves a little differently? How do they engage with their clients differently? Who are the different clients that they work with? So give yourself the gift of exploration here. I know this is new for a lot of people. This can be unfamiliar, uncomfortable. As we've seen, it can be a little bit of fun too. So play around. And don't be afraid to give yourself a raise and to offer people the invitation to value themselves at a higher level as well.